In this WrestleTalk news, Ric Flair's backstage clash with Vince McMahon, backstage heat on Charlotte, 2 fired WWE stars debut in AEW, and more. This is Jackson Ryker, the greatest babyface known to man. He is telling you to subscribe to WrestleTalk and enable notifications to always on, because inside Jackson Ryker is another smaller Jackson Ryker telling you to also subscribe to WrestleTalk for daily wrestling news videos, because inside that Jackson Ryker is me still dancing for subs, you sickos!
Support WrestleTalk!
After Rajgiri announced that yet another big name was getting released on Monday, who I correctly predicted just by looking at people Randy Orton has feuded with recently, Fightful and Wrestling Inc. broke in a joint report that Ric Flair had been granted his freedom from WWE. Then the following day, WWE announced the news themselves on their website with the rather terse statement, "We have come to terms on the release of Ric Flair as of today, the 3rd of August 2021. A statement that doesn't include the standard "we just fired you" line. We wish them well in all their future endeavors. Which is the corporate equivalent of saying, and then I want you to take that turtle and then the barbecue was ruined. Flair himself then put out his own statement on Twitter, handily capitalizing every word. "I am officially able to respond to all the press related to my requested release from WWE, which they have given me. I want to make it really clear with everyone that I'm not upset with WWE at all. They solely are responsible for putting me in the position of life that I'm in right now, where I'm seen in the brightest light ever. We have a different vision for my future. I wish them nothing but continued success. Thank you for everything, nothing but respect." Rick then gave more details in an interview with People magazine. "We just didn't see eye to eye on some business opportunities that I wanted to pursue, so I asked for my release. There has been no animosity and everything has been on friendly terms. It was a mutually agreed upon decision, and I will be moving forward to pursue other exciting endeavors such as my own line of wine, my own network, as well as comic books. I had to make this decision personally for my business and my brand." But that isn't quite what all the backstage reports say. So what really was the issue that led to Rick leaving WWE? His own line of wine? Or disagreements with the way his daughter was being treated? Fightful's initial report said Rick had contacted Vince McMahon directly leading up to his release as he grew frustrated with certain booking decisions on the show. I speculated this could be about his last storyline in WWE, pairing with Lacey Evans to feud with his daughter Charlotte, which had to be scrapped when Lacey got pregnant. Rick himself has said in interviews he wasn't comfortable with the storyline and got mad over it. But there's now several conflicting reports over that too, which I'll get into very shortly, but first, here's a quick message from this episode's wonderful sponsor, Ridge, which you can get 10% off now using our link in the video description below. The Ridge have redefined the wallet, creating a minimalist card holder for up to 12 cards, plus room for all your money in a compact design which easily fits in your front pocket, unlike your current wallet, which is probably about as minimalist as a hipster burger. No one can get that in their mouth. Title of my sex tape. Ridge wallets are available in 30 different colors and styles, have RFID blocking technology to protect your cards from digital pickpockets, over 40,000 5-star reviews, and a 45-day trial period with lifetime warranty, meaning this could be the last wallet you ever have to buy. And wallets aren't all they do, as I've just picked up their awesome weatherproof commuter backpack which has so many compartments. So please support WrestleTalk and at least check out the Ridge wallet by using our link ridge.com/WrestleTalk below. And if you like what you see, use the code WrestleTalk for 10% off. Support WrestleTalk, support your wallet with the Ridge. Dave Meltzer is reporting that Ric's WWE release wasn't actually him quitting, but more being fired, saying he's heard from people who I know who are closer to this situation than I am that say that it was Vince's decision. Brian Alvarez has expanded on this on Wrestling Observer Live, reporting that Ric Flair wasn't unhappy with his booking, he was unhappy with his daughter Charlotte's. So unhappy, he sent a text message to Vince, and the text message essentially said, "You either fix it or I quit." Vince, of course, didn't fix it, so Ric Flair quit, meaning both sides can lay claim to who broke up with who. Ric quit because Vince didn't give in to his demands, or Vince fired Ric because he was being too demanding. So he was both fired and quit in the same way that the totem is still spinning at the end of Inception. But if you've watched Raw recently, in which case, I'm so sorry, you would have seen Charlotte Flair become women's champion to lose it 24 hours later, but their main event the following 2 weeks of Raw, and being all over the rest of the shows. Before then, she was feuding over the women's title for months with Asuka and Rhea Ripley. She's currently as prominent on WWE TV as she's ever been. So what's got Ric allegedly so disgruntled? TMZ has added that the split has been in the works for quite a while, so it could be traced back to WrestleMania season and the months of uncertainty over Charlotte in WWE. She was abruptly removed from this year's Road to WrestleMania, missing an entire month of Raws leading up to the show. Initially, it was thought to be because she had tested positive for COVID, which she announced on Twitter. But then, just several days later, her fiancé Andrade was granted his release from the company, where he then gave a scathing shoot interview alleging that a WWE doctor had told Charlotte she had to be medically suspended because she was pregnant. And emerged this was a false reading, as Charlotte's own tests came back negative. Despite seemingly being medically cleared, she was removed from the WrestleMania 37 poster. Rhea Ripley replaced her in the Asuka women's title feud, and Flair missed the biggest show of the year. That, to me, appears more substantial reasoning to quit a company rather than not liking a romantic storyline with Lacey Evans that lasted little more than a month. For what it's worth, though, Ric denied to people in his recent interview that he had texted Vince to release him about Charlotte's booking. Dave Meltzer has pointed out that Ric has been friends with AEW president Tony Khan for years, and that he was recently seen with Jim Ross in Florida and North Carolina last week. Ric Flair to Ring of Honor confirmed. Why do you think Ric Flair left WWE? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to as many people as I can for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live from out of nowhere. Woo! But the Nature Boy isn't the only one who could leave WWE this month. Somehow, WWE have let one of their top stars' contracts accidentally expire, with NXT's Adam Cole becoming a free agent this month rather than December like everyone backstage apparently thought. Several sites have pointed out how that oversight has come out at the same time WWE fired their senior director of talent development, Kenyon Seaman, the guy who just so happens to be responsible for keeping track of stuff like that. PW Unlimited claimed that WWE have actually offered Cole multiple contracts, but he's turned them all down. Fightful Select refute that though, reporting he hasn't been formally offered a new deal yet, but, quote, "It's obviously planned. Obviously. Like they would obviously not want a guy's contract to expire." Thanks for your support on Patreon, the Mayor of Painesville, Dan, and the Kessel Run DX Solo.
To persuade females to come close and admire his plumes, he sings the most complex song he can manage.
In this edition of CM Punk Watch, it's not just All Elite Wrestling he's now being teased for, because ever since the Forbidden Door was set up between two chairs and split in two by Jon Moxley, he could wrestle for New Japan as well. With the first NJPW star to have appeared in person on Dynamite, Kenta tweeting, "Give me CM Punk," before clarifying, "I'm Kenta," with a photo of him giving the GTS to Jon Moxley. Punk has admitted in the past that he stole his GTS finisher from Kenta. Ahead of tonight's homecoming edition of AEW Dynamite, never happened to just a regular old Dynamite episode. Cody Rhodes took questions on a media call where he requested people don't ask him about CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. So they asked him about Bray Wyatt instead. Cody pointed out that Wyatt was actually Cody's rookie in the second season of NXT, which I had completely forgotten was a thing, and talked up the joint history of the Rotunda and Rhodes families. He put over how incredibly creative Bray is, but said, "I can't comment on if I see a spot for him when it comes to us." On the other end of dealing with the public spectrum, Ronda Rousey has cut a "You People" promo about Bray Wyatt's release on Twitter. "I've seen you same fans chanting 'We want Wyatt' last night, chanting 'We want beach balls' over Bray Wyatt performing. If the WWE treated him like he was expendable, it was because you ungrateful idiots did it first." Ronda, you so heelish. Do you agree with Ronda that consistently terrible booking from WWE hasn't jaded fans so much that they have to make their own fun at live events? Let me know in the comments, you ungrateful idiots. They might not be the recently released WWE stars we're all clamoring for in AEW, but it's always great to see talented wrestlers get another chance, as the former NXT tag team Ever Rise has been announced for tonight's episode of Dynamite. The former Matt Martell and Chase Parker, now going by Matt Lee and Jeff Parker and simply called 2.0, were released by WWE on June 25th after just over 2 years with the company. But because NXT contracts only have a 30-day non-compete clause, they can show up for other promotions already. They'll team with Daniel Garcia to take on Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, and Eddie Kingston in a 6-man tag, which doesn't sound like they'll be getting the win. This is probably more likely a tryout for the team rather than a full-time contract. You better believe WWE will be watching though, no matter what Vince McMahon says in investors' calls, because a video uploaded to Reddit from Diva Insider claims to show the production team having a monitor dedicated to AEW Dynamite while broadcasting an episode of NXT. Which makes total sense. It's fine to keep eyes on your competition, especially as this appears to be from an episode where Dynamite and NXT were going head to head. That way you can time going into ad breaks more effectively to hopefully pinch the other's audience. The problem is, WWE claim AEW aren't competition, and they don't do this kind of thing. The results are in, and I can confirm I will have to make a music video punishment of Chris Jericho's entrance music Judas by Fozzy for losing the last season of Wrestle League, as suggested by our pledge hammers on Patreon and voted for by all you viewers. Thanks, guys. I'll start working on that to go live during our big return to the office party on SummerSlam week, where we'll have loads of live streams over on the WrestleTalk podcast channel. There's never been a better time to join us on Patreon. But now it's time for Tempest's review of last night's NXT in about 5 minutes.
Dear Lord, that's the loudest profanity I've ever heard.
Alright, I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm Tempest the Wrestler, and I'm back with another review of NXT in about 5 minutes. So this show started with a match, thumbs up, that involved Hit Row, 2 thumbs up, and also Legado del Fantasma. This was a pretty fun match as Hit Row played the role of the babyface. Makes sense as they are getting increasingly more over as the weeks go by. However, just as Top Dollar made the hot tag and began to make his comeback, Santos Escobar clocked him with a chair for the DQ. Boo! After the match, Legado del Fantasma attacked Hit Row with the chair, and Santos Escobar stole Isaiah Swerve Scott's grill. That's not sanitary, we're still in a pandemic, y'all. However, Hit Row was able to make a comeback in the post-match with Swerve hitting the Phantom Driver on Joaquin Wilde. This was about a 3 out of 5 match with a 1 out of 5 finish, with a 4 out of 5 post-match, so I'm gonna go right in the middle and give it a 3 out of 5. The next match saw the returning Ridge Holland take on Ikemen Jiro. There wasn't much to say about this match, as Jiro was able to get some offense, but this was very clearly a Ridge Holland showcase, and he did a good job picking up the win with a sit-out scoop slam. I'll say again, I really like the dynamic of Ridge Holland, Pete Dunne, and Oney Lorcan. I think they have even more personality than some of the other factions on this show. Certainly more personality than the Diamond Mine. Nothing to complain about, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. There weren't a ton of backstage segments on this show, and the next match saw Roderick Strong take on former Undisputed Era partner Bobby Fish. If you've seen these guys work over the last few years, and even dating back to their time in Ring of Honor, you know what you're gonna get here, and they did a very good job having a lot of strikes and grappling throughout this match, with Roderick Strong eventually getting the win with a backbreaker. I am a little bit disappointed at how this just doesn't feel like it means that much. They could be doing so much more with the history that these two guys share, being part part of the Undisputed Era, but it seems like Bobby Fish is just a stepping stone on the way to Kushida for Roderick Strong. Again, this was fine. This was another really solid match. I'll give this one a 3 out of 5. It didn't blow me away, but it was definitely fun. LA Knight and Cameron Grimes were backstage as Knight told Grimes that he had to wrestle tonight in his Butler outfit, and they both went back and forth saying that Grimes had LA Knight's back, but wasn't sure if LA Knight would have his. This led right into their tag match with the Grizzled Young Veterans. Minor gripes aside, I probably still will go 4 out of 5 on this one. It was probably my favorite match on the show, with great stuff from Cameron Grimes and the Grizzled Young Vets. In a pre-recorded video, Dakota Kai explained her actions from last week, turning on Raquel Gonzalez. Kai talked us through their entire history as a team and said that Io Shirai gave Raquel Gonzalez the title shot at Stand and Deliver instead of her, when it should have been her opportunity. It may have only been a few minutes long, but they perfectly established what Dakota Kai's motivations were here, and that's so often missing from the heels in WWE these days. It was quick, to the point, and made me want to see the match. This gets a 5 out of 5. Next up was the final first round match in the NXT Breakout Tournament as Trey Baxter took on Joe Gacy. I thought that this match was fairly similar to last week's match between Carmelo Hayes and Josh Briggs, with the little babyface beating the big heel. However, Joe Gacy was a lot more mobile than Josh Briggs was in that match. That's not to say it was better or worse, but Trey Baxter managed to get a lot of high-flying offense in, eventually leading to his win with a 450 stomp. Can I be a buzzkill for a sec? There's no such thing as a 450 stomp. See, if you're on the top rope and you do a full rotation and you land in a stomp position, that's only 360 degrees. The 450 part is the over rotation where you land on your stomach. Doesn't matter. This was another really fun match. I'm very interested to see what Trey Baxter does in this tournament. I could still see him potentially turning heel in the future. Going 3 out of 5 for this one. We had an absolutely baffling segment in a sushi restaurant with Zoe Stark and Io Shirai. Up to this point, I haven't really seen a reason for Io Shirai to not like Zoe Stark, but I sure got one now. Zoe started eating it, and she spit it out into her napkin and threw it on the floor, so there's strike 1. She then threw the rest of her food over her head onto the glass of the restaurant. That's strike 2. And then she had like a mildly racist interaction with the server, where she asked if Io Shirai and her knew each other, which, okay, fair game. They're talking to each other. Maybe they have a relationship, but she said no. And then she asked her if she was from Japan, which she also says no. And then asked where she's from, and she's from Kansas. Stop white people 2021. I'm supposed to want to see these two bond with each other, but the only message I got from this is never go out to eat with Zoe Stark. Whew. This gets a 1 out of 5. This was not good. And then we got the love her or lose her match between Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, guys. I'll break character here. I thought this match was fine. This was probably the best Dexter Lumis match that I've seen in quite some time, with the weird moment of him crawling under the ring for no reason excluded. I thought this was really good. That's part of the problem that I have with Dexter Lumis as a character. He is a good worker. Sam Shaw is a good worker, and he could have really good matches if he wasn't being bogged down by this weirdo character. Ultimately, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell ended up at ringside by the end of the match, and as Johnny Gargano was rolled up by Dexter Lumis, the kickout forced Dexter into Indy Hartwell, distracting Dexter long enough for Johnny Gargano to hit a suicide dive DDT and the one final beat for the win. However, after the match, Indy Hartwell just decided, you know what? Why even have matches? Why have stipulations? Why promote things? Who cares? I'm just gonna go be with my boyfriend anyway. See, here's the thing, guys. I don't really care that they got together on this show. I thought that was going to happen, but I thought it was going to be by Dexter Lumis winning this match. The part that pisses me off is the fact that they spent so much time on all of this, building up to this match with a stipulation, and then they didn't honor the stipulation. I'd probably say the match was about a 4 out of 5, and then the post-match was a 2 out of 5, so again, we're going right in the middle with a 3 out of 5. So on the whole, this was actually a fairly boring episode of NXT, to be honest. They didn't progress very many of the storylines towards NXT TakeOver 36, with the exception of the NXT Women's Championship match. It was solid entertainment, but there wasn't a whole lot that I'll remember in a week's time. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5, but a solid 3 out of 5. And that just about wraps it up for me. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on this week's show, make sure you go over to WrestleTalk Podcast later on today, where myself and Chopper Pete will be breaking down this entire episode of NXT in detail. Until then, jam that jam. I still can't show the tattoo properly, but it's healed now. Looks good.
Well, okay, let's talk about this, because Jesus tap dancing Christ, even a week on, I'm still steaming about the Karrion Kross call-up. We'll get into it in more detail deeper into the list. Spoiler, it's number 1, because of course it is, but God, WWE is such a backwards company sometimes. It is quite literally backwards to see stars see their stock rise when they go back to the developmental brand. It's